best thing about having a Bob and Maggie Allesee on your side is that you know you're going to be with winners all your life.
In many organizations, people talk about the 3 T's: time, talent, and treasure. And I can't think of a couple that typifies the 3 T's in such a good way any more than they do.
Is there anything that they don't support that doesn't have Maggie and Bob's name attached to it?
Maggie has a saying she's very fond of, which is, if you want something done correctly, ask a busy person. And she fits right into that.
I do work on the groups that I'm attached to. We don't give funds without being part of the community.
I've been successful. And when you're successful, you have to make a payback. You owe something for that success.
Well, 34 years ago, when Bob and I met and next year married, we joined together children, 3 children each from 2 families, so we had 6 children. Bob was already involved in so many things. He was well known for his Ask Your Neighbor radio show, and then at that time he was doing Bowling for Dollars.
I don't think he gets enough recognition for his talent, whether it's at the piano or behind the microphone. I watched him as a very young person when I got into this business.
And I graduated from high school, and I went down to the local radio station in LaPorte, Indiana. And I said, I'd like a job. Oh, he said, that's nice. What, do you have any experience? I said, well, no, I don't have any experiences. Why the heck are you coming in here and bothering me for a job when you don't have any experiences? And I looked him in the eye, and I said, because I'm better than anybody you have on the air.
Bob Allison is, without question, the greatest salesman in our community. Not only did he teach me to sell, but I really saw a master of radio work, and I saw the connection that he has with his audience, and it really is unparalleled. He's remarkable.
When they first met, it was only about a year after my father died. And I think that was kind of a transition point for her, where she started to really get more involved in some of the additional community activities. She was very involved before, but that was kind of the inflection point, I guess, in their relationship. We
try to do the best thing, and we try not to be flamboyant. We try to be as middle of the road as we can, and so it's just worked that way.
When I think about Maggie Allesee, the word energy comes to my mind, pep, enthusiasm.
She'll stay up all night working, literally all night. I mean, you can call her at 4 or 5 in the morning and she'll be up working on projects. And then she'll go to a 7:30 a.m. meeting, and you might look across the room and look at her and think, she's sleeping. And the second you think that, and you turn your back, she's zinging you with a question, which you're not ready for.
Maggie not only was born in Florida, but she went to Florida State, as I recall, and she was one of the first cheerleaders, perhaps the first cheerleader they ever had.
The fact that she'd been a cheerleader is perfect because she's kept that, she cheerleads all her life.
It meant so much to me that when they decided, when I was 50, that the cheerleaders could come back and cheer at homecoming, Bob said, oh yes, well, I suppose you're going, aren't you? I said, of course. Went right downtown and bought my saddle shoes and made a uniform that looked like mine had when I was in college, and have been going back every year since.
Bob and Maggie are a common denominator, in the good sense of common denominator, on so many organizations' boards, because they were involved in so many things.
They say about Reggie Jackson, the baseball player, he was the straw that stirred the drink. That's Bob and Maggie. They are the straw that stirs the drink in the foundation community, the charitable community, the cultural community, the human service community, most communities in Detroit. Bob and Maggie are there making things happen. Tremendous people, great partners, and a great important part of Detroit Public Television.
Maggie is a board member of the Wayne State University Foundation and has been a board member for some time. She's chair of the development committee.
Hospice is something that Maggie was interested in for a very long time before it was popular.
And our hospice program is meant to not only help the person who is passing away, but to bring care to the people who are administering these services to them.
The long-term success of Detroit is going to depend on a much greater diversity of activities than we've had in the past. And the money and the initiative that Maggie and Bob have provided is key to this.
And it isn't all just money. It's enthusiasm, it's effort, it's talent, it's leadership. It's all the things that would run a 501c3 or a Fortune 500 company.
And when I go any place outside of Michigan and somebody says, "Where are you from?" I have only one answer. "I'm from Detroit." And they look and they say, "You're from Detroit?" I said, "Yes." And I'm very proud of that, too.
Detroit's a wonderful place, and I love living here. I think the way you get people to do better is to tell them how good they are and point out the things that they're doing, and always think about, well, this worked, let's make this work better. And I think that's kind of a cheerleading attitude, because you're always cheering for the team and pumping them on, and it's easy to do.